Hello, everyone, and I hope you've been enjoying this Free Your Nervous System series. Today is our last call, and this one's all about anger. Um, with all the other ones, I had like a bit of a catchphrase or something like "Don't fall into the busyness trap," and um, like like freeing yourself from people pleasing. Like that's all about form mode. This one's about anger and fight mode, and I really struggled to come up with like some sort of catchy play on words for it because um and especially from my own experience, there's just such a wide range of the emotions you'll feel with anger, and it just activates so much in our nervous system. And I feel like I've gone through every facet of it. So I feel like this one is a bit more uh there's I feel like there's a lot more to this one than the others, and maybe that's why I also saved it for the end, where normally like we talk about the fight flight response, so you would have thought it would be the first one. But yeah, so when our nervous system is stressed, it's going to be looking for our a response to handle that stress. So that's like we're talking about. We can either go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And when we go into fight mode, it's getting ready to fight whatever that danger is. So in the past, in our primal days, that would have been like fighting an enemy or fighting a predator. So it's pretty much a life or death situation. But the stresses that we experience now come a lot from society, a lot from the expectations, and a lot from it's a lot. Yeah, trying to think of what words I wanted to say. Um, a lot of it comes from suppressing our emotions. So, what happens with anger, it's usually that we've been pushing our emotions so far down that then the next thing happens that triggers it. So then we erupt, we explode. All of it just comes out, and there's like we've flipped the lid, and that's just makes sense because like we've been stuffing it all down until there's nowhere left for it to go. So the next thing happens, boom. And with the other ones, they kind of get their release pretty closer to the trigger happening, whereas yeah, like the angers just keep pushing it down. And the reason we keep pushing it down is because we're so disconnected from our emotions. That's one. Two is we don't want to feel the bad emotions. So, like anger can range from like just annoyance and frustration, a bit of impatience, and then it can be building up. There can be um, just more like anger, and then at the other end of the scope is the rage, the full-blown rage. So it's really such a broad spectrum. Whereas with the other responses, like, well, when you go into freeze mode, you kind of just go numb. So you're not even feeling your emotions. When you go into flight, you've escaped your body. So to go into whatever things that to keep you busy, to keep you occupied. So again, you're disconnecting. Um, when you go into fawn, you're feeling into the other people's emotions. So you're trying to please them and get the the nice feelings back from them. Whereas with fight mode, it's just pushing them down. So you're not able to like you're not escaping the body. You're just pushing them down and like yeah, I'm just gonna just keep it down here. Like I'm fine, I'm all good. And then you're not. So yeah, so that's the best way I can describe it. And then the way it plays out in our lives is when things happen that make us feel angry, and these could be things like these, and again, it can be a wide range of things. It could just be like I can't think of the word road rage. So yeah, so just getting cut off in traffic, like that's something that has never bothered me, but like my husband, he used to get really triggered by it. So um it's everyone has a different response to just another car cutting in front of you. And it's like, why does that matter? Like, so a lot of the things that can happen with whatever the trigger is we can take things personally. So then if we're thinking that they've really offended us, that they've taken advantage of us, that they've just basically done something wrong to us, then that's when our fight system gets activated and we're ready to fight. We're ready, we're on the defensive. We are ready to attack. And then that can come out in different ways. So it could be like the easy ones are like just like yelling and screaming, like having to vocalize it and externalize it. It can be being overly defensive. So really like if someone says something to you and you take it personally, then you're like, no, like you want to push it back and be like, no, that's not me. Like you don't want to deal with the fact that it could be that there could be some truth to it. So then you have to defend yourself to make yourself feel good. And then that means you may project something else out onto the other person. So you could end up arguing the person or even dominating the conversation. So you don't even let them have a chance to have a word in. So if you just keep going, 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 then you've been able to take control and take power of the conversation. And then that's the other thing, like with anger, a lot of it can be like power struggles. So if you're not feeling like you're able to stand in your own power or someone's taking your own power away from you, then that's what's another thing that can activate our anger. And this I like to say is actually a good thing because, again, with the broad spectrum of anger is the message that anger actually has for us. And most often than not, it's about our boundaries. It's letting us know that we have some boundaries in place, or maybe we don't even have any boundaries in place, and that's the problem. And somebody has encroached on those boundaries. And the anger shows up to let us know that that's not all right. We need to do something to rectify that. So if we have healthy boundaries in place where we are able to um, respect ourselves, put ourselves first, but have compassion for the other and do what we can for the other, that's still within our boundaries. So we're not overextending ourselves. We're not people pleasing and giving all of ours to make sure that their needs are met before our own. Then we have these healthy boundaries. And then when somebody does something that is going to um, affect the integrity of that boundary, then our anger rises up because it's like, no, this isn't right. It's like this is where the social injustices of the world, like people make change because of knowing that there's boundaries in place and someone's broken those boundaries or messing with them and they need to be protected. So it's that protection that comes in. So which can still be that fight. Like it's like I'm going to protect what I need to protect. Like this is my healthy boundary and I need to protect it. So and then it's all about how you express it as to whether you're expressing healthy anger or this distorted anger that we also get often stuck in, which is also then related to that downward spiral, which can be the victim consciousness where you have to blame everyone that there's like you're not at fault at all. Everyone else is at fault. That you don't like there's nothing that you need to take responsibility for or ownership of. It's all the other people. They're all the ones doing the wrong things. And then like when you're stuck in this, it's all about feeling like the world has wronged you and that you um like it's like why is everything happening to me? So yeah, so then as you can move out of that, then you can reflect on no, okay, so things are happening in the world that I do not agree with. What is within my control that I can actually make change? So there might not be much, especially like with global things. So that's where you can only like really all we can take control of is ourselves and our own reactions. So the more we can do that, and then that will then ripple out to our families. They'll be able to see the change, and then they might start to change as well. So it all just starts to ripple out that way. Or you can even like get involved with, like, if it is a big social issue, then like you can get involved with like a local community, and that's like how the grassroots levels things starts. Um, but then the other thing I wanted to speak to is how these big things that are happening in the world that are impacting everyone, that they are wrong. They're things that are these lower frequencies that are trying to keep us in this lower vibrational state. So they're trying to make sure that we do stay stuck in this anger, because when we're stuck in anger, we've got this tunnel vision, or like all we're seeing is the thing that's making us angry, and we don't want to hear anything else. We don't want to pay attention to anything else. It's like, no, I'm focusing on this. This is like making me angry, and I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna, like, you stew in your own anger and you just stay there. And then when we're in that state, then we've got more negative thinking happening. We've got like we'll probably be expressing our things to people in a negative state, which will then be impacting them. So then that's rippling out in a negative way, and then that's creating just more negative expressions, and just keeping everyone in a lower vibrational state, which, depending on what agendas you subscribe to, is like people, like energies are feeding off of that negative energy. So the more that we can rise above the anger and acknowledge that there is healthy anger, and anger can actually be our friend. It's letting us know when either a boundary's been overstepped, or just that there's something that we need to address, most likely within ourselves, and it's just highlighting that for us, then we can work from a much higher state. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much all I think I wanted to talk about. The other thing is, I guess, with how we push it all down, like pushing these emotions down, is because most often growing up, we've been told like just to brush things off, that things don't matter. Like sometimes like our parents may have just wanted to make us feel better, so then they don't acknowledge what it is that we're actually feeling. Um, and then sometimes it's because they like their anger has influenced our anger. So no one knows how to actually cope with the anger in a healthy way. And that's usually something that's been passed down through the generations. And again, it's usually because it's been something that's been suppressed. So it's been pushed down, most often linked to people pleasing. So we need to be doing what others want us to do, which comes from the societal conditioning. So then anytime we are having these feelings of anger or any negative feelings, it's push it down, push it down. They don't exist. They don't feel good. We don't want to have anything to do with them. So we're just going to push them down. And then that's just, like I said, it then just is that recipe that comes into play. So, all right. I'm going to now switch into our quantum healing. So if you're not already lying down or seated, please take a moment to get comfortable. I will start sharing my music and find the right button to press. All right. All right. So if you guys can hear that music, if you can just let me know, that would be great.
Yep, can hear it from my end.
Great, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so just closing your eyes and taking a deep breath in, deep into your belly. And as you breathe out, just let it out with a big sigh. Letting anything that has come before this moment just fade away. Just connecting to your body, present moment. And as we're connecting to our bodies, we need to just send roots from your feet down into the earth, through all the levels of the earth, through the sand and the rocks, until you reach the core of the earth and connect to the crystalline frequencies. You're going to bring these frequencies up with you, feeling all the grounding, the protection, the love. Feeling these frequencies come up through all the levels of the earth, through your feet, into your root chakra, sacral, your solar plexus, and anchoring into your heart. And now we're going to reach out to the cosmos and connect to source energy, visualizing a grand central sun that's streaming light out towards you. This light is coming through all the cosmos, through the sky, into your soul star chakra, into your crown, your brow, your throat, and anchoring into your heart. You are connected above and below, feeling these energies combine and grow and expand through your body, filling you up from head to toe, going into your blood and your bone and into all of your cells. Going through all of your body system. And then pushing it outside of your body, going through your energy bodies, your chakras, your nadis, your meridians, and then through all the other levels of your aura, the mental body, the astral, the buddhic, and then your spiritual bodies. And then expanding this out even further to fill up the room that you're in, the entire space that you're in. Now we're going to send through an ultraviolet flame to just transmute anything that does not serve your highest good. And now, surrounding this light of yours with the ultraviolet flame and a blue seal. Only love and light can enter. If anything does not serve your highest good, it will simply bounce off. It will be transmuted and it will be returned to sender as love. So you are safe and protected in this space. And now we're going to call in your higher self, your team of guides. You are each in your own sovereign space. And now I'm going to call in each of your higher selves. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or watching the replay at any moment in time. Calling your energy in. And now I'm just creating a space. So how I was talking about the broad spectrum of anger, I can already feel that what we'll be working with is the broad spectrum as well. So I'll start at the lower end of the scale. And what's really coming through is a lot of frustration. And it seems like so many, I guess, angry interactions can all just happen mainly out of miscommunication because you or the other person may be feeling a level of frustration. So you're not in your most grounded state. You're not a capacity where you can respond with love, and so then you react out of this frustration. Um, and it just seems like it then, like it's just makes things bigger than what they are. That it then like impacts the other person, so then they will do that with another person in their next interaction, and then so on and so forth. So it's really just gets magnified and amplified. And then that's another thing also, especially for the empaths, is being able to feel the other person's anger and frustration, and either getting it confused with your own energy or feeling it and it combines with your own energy. So then your anger and frustration is instantly amplified. And then you react in a way that you wouldn't have. And that's just because this other energy has, in a way, infused with your own. So, just as much as we want to start to honor these, what we would call negative emotions, we also want to get more in touch with what our own energy feels like, so we can feel when it's other people's energy that is holding on or coming into us, um, just to learn to differentiate between it. So there's still lots coming through, and it's like initially that was just dealing with I guess being angry or frustrated with other people. Whereas now what's coming through is, I guess, being angry or frustrated with your life. So whether it's your own expectations of where you thought your life would be at this stage, or having things not working out, and struggling to make sense of it, or trying to work towards something, or like so much, like there's a lot of future um, projection coming through. So it's like you can't be happy in the present because it all depends on some future event. So just bringing through all of this frustration, this impatience, this there's some regrets. Because yeah, you might be a bit too hard on yourself about maybe some choices that were made, which may have led to the situation that you're in. And some of them are very simple choices, and it was just how everything unfolded. And other ones were a direct result of a choice that you made, and you may very well have known you may have been making the wrong choice, or not had the best intentions. And then it's playing out the way it was to be, and you're really frustrated with yourself because you understand that you could have saved yourself a lot of pain if you hadn't of made that choice. So just sitting with that for a moment and just understanding you made the choice that felt right at that time, even if it was guided by anger. And it could even be like, I feel like there's like resentment and grudges involved in here. And could even be wanting to make someone else suffer, or even wanting to suffer yourself so that other people could see it. So you, in a sense, have exasperated the issue. So it's like, if you wanted other people to see you were suffering, it's like, are they even noticing? Or even if they are noticing, there's only so much they can do. You're the one that needs to make the change. You're the only one that can get yourself out of it. And um, in some cases, you were the one that put yourself in that situation. Um, so for those of you that this resonates with, just take a deep breath in and just slowly let it out. Feeling your body relax as you breathe out, and just letting the tension leave your body. Body doesn't need to hold on to it anymore. Another breath in. If you need to let a scream out, you can do that. You're in your own space. And again, with this pushing down of emotions and not wanting to deal with them, sometimes like the screaming, like, is a healthy way to express the anger if you're doing it in a safe space. So like, even if you need to like just scream into a pillow from now and then, like we want to be able to allow our throat chakras to fully express everything, and that can be good and bad, like, and we don't want to block it or restrict it. But it's like screaming at that person, yelling at that person, it's not going to solve anything. But screaming into a pillow isn't going to harm anyone, and it allows you to let that frustration out. And it's like, the more we just acknowledge and express these emotions, it may only be like a fleeting moment that this emotion was to be. Emotions are energy in motion. So if we acknowledge them, observe them, express them, that could all be done in like just a matter of seconds. But when we don't allow that to happen and we stuff these emotions down, then they're just going to build up and fester. And then when they do get expressed in an unhealthy way, it's going to, it has the potential to create destruction. And it's all because they were held in and pushed down, and suppressed and not allowed to move freely. So just in the same way of having compassion for yourself, how you may have contributed in any way at all to the situation you're in, this isn't about any blame or guilt. It's just accepting what is, So this is the time to let any guilt go, to let the loop of the blame game go. So whether you're blaming others or blaming yourself. And that's the thing with the loops. We can get really stuck in so many different loops, and it can be this all or nothing loop. And again, that can just send us into a spiral. I'm just feeling through for anything else with the frustration, but that is all feeling clear now. Alright, so I'm feeling in towards going the other end of the spectrum, and I was just seeing if there was anything along the way, but it doesn't seem like it, and I actually can't even find the other spectrum, so I think something else wants to come up. And it is still linked to that guilt and blame, and there's also shame. So there's a lot of shame actually. So when we are angry and we react rather than respond, we tend to lose control over ourselves, and we may do things that we normally wouldn't do. They may even go against us. And sometimes they may be patterns that we have learned from, could be from society, could be from how our parents parented us, or even if we had siblings, like watching how they were parented. Like I know for myself that I was the good girl because I didn't want to get told off like my siblings were. I didn't want to get hit like my siblings were. So I became the good girl. And I know that I never wanted to hit my children. But with my youngest, she's been testing every boundary that I have. And unfortunately, I have ended up smacking her, and I have hated myself for doing that. So I feel you. I've been there. I know what it's like to get stuck or sucked into this feeling, and feel like it's just something that just takes over you. And first, we're going to deal with our own shame, but I can feel that there's going to be some ancestral stuff coming through as well. All right, so that's shame in this body, in this lifetime. And as I'm trying to clear this shame, I'm actually feeling like I actually need to, I haven't done this before, so I'm trying to think of what word it is. It's not invert it, but basically we're going to convert it maybe into compassion. So having more compassion for yourself, yeah, rather than having this shame like fester and I guess feed into other things. We're going to turn it into compassion, and from this compassion we'll be able to have more understanding of what may have happened in the past. We don't need to forgive anyone. We're not condoning anything anyone may have done to you. We're just helping you understand what lessons you may have learned from it, or how it may have shaped you to be the person that you are. Because if this event or these scenarios hadn't played out, then you wouldn't be the person that you are today. They really have shaped you, and we want to acknowledge the pain that you have experienced, like emotional and physical pain. We're not dismissing that, and we are just bringing it up to a higher frequency where you're able to meet it with love and compassion and understanding. Let that continue for a moment. What's starting to come through from the ancestors is quite heavy and quite dark. I think like there's even like primal or tribal energy. Sorry, like I am a bit tired. I haven't had the best sleep for the past couple of days, and before I connect to the ancestors, I do want to speak to that. So that's another thing when we are sleep deprived, when we are not nourishing our body as well as we should be, then we are operating from a lower capacity. We've got a lower tolerance. So then that means that we can switch to these older primal templates that are within us, or passed down from our ancestors. And it just, what's the word I want to say? It's just coming back to the nervous system and how, like, the essentials, staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, nourishing your body, that they are such simple things that we can do to support ourselves and support our nervous systems. And when any of them are lacking, that it can then already start to put some stress on our nervous system. And then whichever nervous system response that may be our dominant one, like it enables that one to be already on standby, ready, on alert. So then that's why it can get activated a lot quicker. Okay, so it's like a long line of ancestors. So I don't know if that's because of how many people will end up watching the replay, like all of their ancestors, or to show just how far back it goes. Like it really does have this tribal and primal energy to it, where I guess like we still do have this primal part of our brain that is still based on the survival instincts of survival, like basically life or death survival. So the stresses are very different to what we experience now, but the nervous system doesn't have any hierarchy of what type of stress we're in. All it knows is stress, and it's going to activate a response in response to that stress. So at first, we're just going to acknowledge our ancestors, and I guess even like thanking them for the fact that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. and honoring that connection. And then it's like some ancestors have had like again, it's that broad spectrum. So some have had their fight response activated through basic survival, with yeah, so it does feel like there's more like tribal, like dealing with predators and that. And then there's some that have experienced lifetimes that are much more sinister and dealing with atrocious things that have happened. So it's just we've just got a big blanket around it. So we don't need to feel into the terrible things that were experienced. And we're just going to scoop them all up. We're not dismissing them. It's just, again, this wide spectrum. So many different things that have played out. Like it's like I'm really getting things like from medieval times and also from the world wars. And it's like part of it is the ancestors that survived these things, their DNA was imprinted with what they experienced. And so what gets passed down through the DNA is this this new response to survival, like it's a survival mechanism. So it's getting like our amygdala gets passed on through the mother, like it's priming the baby to be ready to be born into this environment. So it's not going to be such a big shock to the system. So it's there to support, but it just never gets switched off down the line. So what we like living now is nothing like what was experienced in those times. So that's something that we're now just going to just scoop it all up and basically deactivate it. And there's some chords coming from this, so I'm just hearing these chords. And it does seem like it's very much something that's been passed down the maternal line. And I think another level of that is also how women were really made to suppress their anger, with the patriarchy being in control, really suppressing women in so many different ways, so that the women had no control and no voice and no power to do anything to make the change. So yeah, so what's really coming through is like the oppression of women. And if you're a male watching this, like you're impacted by this because you came from a woman. So again, it's that imprint that's still gets passed down through the DNA. And again, as I'm trying to clear the energy of the suppression, it's actually wanting to be lifted up. And I can feel that it's more to do with the rising of the divine feminine. So at first we want to just again honor each and every one of you for showing up, for being here, and just acknowledging where you are at in life, that everything is going to work out. You may be on that hardest path, or you may be like on the hardest level at the moment, but you will be able to make it through this. And the answer is through love, not anger. So bringing in the love. And with bringing in the love, I can feel it connecting to the, I'm going to say the divine feminine, but I'm feeling more like it's like a template. And it's just working with the template that you have that is connected to anger. So all the many ways that it's come through, all the many ways that it plays out, all the many ways that you feel it, all the many ways that you express it. And it's just bringing this template out of the 3D, lifting it up, releasing it from these lower vibrations, these lower frequencies. And as it's coming up, these lower vibrational emotions are being transmuted. And of course, I'm trying to bring it up to love and 5D consciousness, where it's about unity, but because we're still coming from separation, it's very just moving very slowly. And I think for now it might just be staying in the 4D, which is again this space where you are observing yourself, having compassion for yourself, and understanding the lessons. And then from that, you're then able to see that instead of life happening to you, that it's happening for you. And you're able to see the growth and the expansion that comes from this. And there we go. Now we're able to make it into the 5D. I'm trying to make the integration of this as smooth as possible, because there are some that I've been able to move through with quite a lot of ease, and then there's some that have been maybe very stuck for a while and not wanting to release the attachment to this, or even feels like it's like not wanting to take not any ownership but any responsibility, maybe that it's easier to just stay in this state where life is happening to them, because then they are not responsible for anything. But then life will just keep happening to you, and you will continue to repeat the same patterns and not enjoy your life. Whereas as you start to observe and acknowledge and start to take responsibility and ownership of your life, you get to see that you create your life, and you can, if you were able to create a not so pleasant experience, then you'll be able to do the opposite and create a pleasant experience. But to do that, we need to free you from this lower vibrational template. And the hesitation could also be from just not understanding what I'm talking about, and I'm just feeling the energies and expressing what I'm feeling. I'm still making my own understandings of working with frequencies, but I do know that part of my purpose is to help people make the shift from the 3D to the 5D. So I'm really glad that this is showing up here, because it's showing me just another way that I hadn't have thought about it. And that seemed to help some more of you come on board. I thank you for trusting me. And it seems that, yeah, trust is at the core of it, because of like what can be at the core of our anger can be being hurt or betrayed. So then we don't want to trust other people. So I'm just working with trust, releasing the pain, releasing the cords, releasing the tension, releasing it from your body. And while I want you to have trust in others, what I'm really doing is bringing this to instill a sense of trust in yourself. So trust in yourself so that you don't need to be giving your power away to others. You are, like, you have the answers within. Yes, you can get support and guidance from others, but ultimately you are the one that has the answers that you seek. So just helping you start to connect more with your body, more with your intuition, and more with your own higher self, so that you can start to trust yourself and your own inner compass. And I guess that's another way that anger can show up, because when we're not living in alignment, we get angry and frustrated. So it's also another indicator to let you know when you're not actually on your right path. So if you've been struggling with trying to understand your purpose and your path, if you've been feeling angry, then think about what are the things that you feel angry about and what that could be telling you to help you redirect yourself. All right, and with that, it seems like we've now helped move everyone from the 3D template to the 5D. Remember, 3D is just all about separation and fear, and 5D is all about love and unity. So I want you to just connect to how you feel in this moment and notice if you do feel a shift. And just pay attention to how that shift feels. And then as we finish up, I want you to just set this intention for the rest of your day or the rest of your week to just observe how you interact with people and how you hopefully respond rather than react, and just not have any expectations. So you just want to be in observer mode. So if you do keep a journal, this will be a great exercise to just journal what you see start to show up, and if you can see any shifts in any interactions, any relationships, any situations. And now, as we finish up, I'm going to disconnect. We're going to unmerge, sending, first of all, your higher selves back to you. Thanking everyone for creating this safe space. It's closing the circle now. And then thanking your team of guides and your higher self for being with us today, and allowing them to leave as you start to return to your body. I want you to feel how comfortable you feel in your body, and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, giving your legs a little wiggle, swaying your body a little, touching your fingertips, just bringing more and more awareness to your body. You may notice that it feels a lot lighter now. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes and welcome back. Ah, that was quite a ride. I hope you feel very relaxed. I'll just turn my sound off. And yeah, that was very, yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. That was, yeah, obviously the theme was about the broad spectrum, and what that journey we went through really was a broad spectrum. Um, so yeah, so if anyone would like to share their experiences, I would love to hear from you. You can share in the chat.
I feel like there was so much in that. And one thing that stuck with me, which I've always kind of wondered how it worked. And like I understand, with what we pass on to our children, like when we're pregnant and things like that, what we're holding on to, and yeah, how it gets passed on to them. And now I kind of understand it all, that depending on our experiences, it's like we kind of harbor that and build up some type of wall or defense and pass it on to our children, like as you said, just in case they're born into it. But it's like with each generation that is being born, it's like we're learning from the past and trying to bring them into a different world, and therefore what we're passing on to them or what they're being born with, like those types of walls or defense mechanisms, aren't necessary anymore because
Mhm.
that's not the life that they're going to experience, and yet they can't get rid of that,
Yeah.
so onto that. So that was yeah, that was an interesting point because like I say, I've been wondering like how does that work and why and all these different things. Then what you're saying, especially like as a mother and how we can like our responses when our boundaries get crossed and different things we can do there, and I guess yeah, just focusing on our boundaries as well and making sure that um we're sticking to them but finding different ways to implement them, because same thing, I get like I feel so bad and so guilty when I've it's very rare, but when I've given Cadence a smack or even Bray, because it's like, oh my God, this is just so much. And then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. He's all right. And it's like, fine. And even my sister says that was like a love tap. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, I know, but still, like, you just don't want to do it. But
Mhm.
like, it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody triggering, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all that.
there'll be more. I'm sure there'll be more, but there
Yeah.
was some
I
parts
know
where
there was a lot in this session. I can't believe how
yeah,
much came through.
I
Uh,
know. It was really good, but I feel like there's so much in this one compared to the other two that you had done.
mhm.
Crazy stuff came through with this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. And yeah, so yeah, and yeah, I just loved exactly that. It gave you an understanding, and yeah, that we were able to like, because the thing is, we are the cycle breakers. We're the ones that are wanting, and again, it's like that's where the anger can be the healthy anger. Like, no, this needs to stop. And we don't want to pass it on to our children, so it stops with me. But we're still ingrained from all this stuff from the past. So it's a lot harder to like. It would have been so much easier for our parents and their parents to just keep doing what you're doing. But we're the ones that want to make change. Um, so yeah, I feeling like I can't even talk anymore.
Yeah,
Uh,
you've done a lot of talking.
yeah,
Um, and it was interesting because I had a similar conversation with Steve yesterday about what we're doing for our children now and what our generation is focusing on. And it's almost like as if all the previous generations were brainstorming about this is what's happened, this is where we've gone wrong. And then it's come to our generation to use, it's like we brainstormed, but through experience instead. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
this is where wrong. Now, this is the generation to think, how do we stop that from happening again? And how, what's the solution to this? And
hmm
at the cycle breakers, but yeah, we've just got so much experience before us that's been kind of like tried and tested and all this stuff. So we know, yeah, no, that definitely hasn't worked. So we're not going to be doing that. And I
yeah,
feel like even just now, not it's not like I want to change because I don't agree with that idea. It's not like I believe, it's almost like it's just something that I have to do. Like it doesn't feel like it's an obligation. It's just like a thing that's ingrained to me now to know, no, that definitely wasn't right. I'm going to try it this way. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't feel like pressure, or I don't feel um, forced to have to do it so that we don't go down the same path. It's just like a knowing that this is the better way to move forward and
yeah.
then going ahead with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like knowing that there is another way. It's just we've got to
Yeah,
figure out that other way.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it doesn't feel like forced, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, I know this didn't work and this caused a war. I've got to 100% make sure that I don't do that wrong and don't do this and don't do that. It's just like, yeah,
hmm
just, I mean, it comes so easily.
Yeah. Love it. All right. Nelly, if you wanted to put anything in the chat, you're free to. Um, otherwise, we might wrap up the recording. Are you on? Oh, no.
I'm here, but I'm just going to get Layla out of the shower.
Okay, no worries. All right, I will stop the recording. But yeah, just to thank everyone for joining this series. Really appreciate it, and just really hope that you have received some insights or some shifts from any or all of the series. And if you haven't already, please join my Facebook group, so where you can start more conversations there about all of the themes that have come up. Again, yeah, this one was just jam-packed with them, so there will be a lot to unpack. So yeah, so I would really like to get the conversation going over there. And if anything did trigger anything that you feel like you need a bit more um, work on, always feel free to contact me about booking in a one-on-one session or my other group offerings that I have. So yeah, so always feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.